My name is Al Trethoy. I'm from 1418 Lynn Park.
Welcome, Al.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
I don't know if you've heard about some of us who every spring get out and actually clean the streets along around on Mayfield, just to the west of Warrensville. And we do that because that's kind of our area and this area. And what we see is that that area is not the nicest part of Cleveland Heights. Actually, I will sometimes stand on the other side of Warrensville and look west and say to myself, if this was my impression of Cleveland Heights, would I in fact want to live here? It's stores that are falling apart, retail that's falling apart, plantings that have been left decayed. I find the same thing, although that's my area. I think also Cedar. I think the Cedar area is improving right now, but same kind of thing. And then when I go down Warrensville and look at Oakwood, and I like the idea that Oakwood is undeveloped land or it's a golf course, but what it is right now is a tired fence with like tired roads and things. And I say, all right, if I'm coming in from Cleveland the way people did in 1920, and I go up the lovely tree-lined streets and the lovely tree-lined hills, say, wow, would I like to live here? But if I'm actually coming from the other side, what I see is undefined and dead or dying. And that's not to criticize the retailers. I know some of them, and they're working very hard. And the property owners, they're working very hard. I would hate to see yet another set of indistinguishable suburban stores sitting there so that we define that side of Cleveland Heights by old crumbling roads, which is what we have at Mayfield right now, old crumbling buildings, trees that only get cut. The only reason the trees actually get trimmed is that I take my trimmer, and some of the other people here do this, to trim them down. And the only reason the plantings, which actually are being pushed out of the ground, we have to call the service department and say, hey, you have dangerous things here that were put in like 40 years ago or 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Now they have to be pulled out. I really hate to see that happen. And therefore, I would like to suggest that not only should we not have more commercial right there, but the city should be actually taking more time to try to figure out what we look like from that side, whether we're just another old suburb, and try to find something intelligent and unique to do with this large property. Whether it's a park, whether it is, for example, wetlands, because I know there's a wetland expert here. I'm not quite sure. But that would be my hope and dream for continuing on. I'm going to keep showing up every May and pick up the cigarette butts that RTA won't provide us ashtrays for. And I will go there and pick up and keep clipping things. But we really have to think in terms of aesthetics and beauty and the actual look of that city. And I think that this one big parcel of land could be part of that whole thing. But that's my thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Al.
Hello. I'm Sue Jansen, 3352 Bradford Road.
Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. And I have lived in Cleveland Heights for 42 years. My children live here. My grandchildren live here. I have a vested interest in this community. Short and simple, we can't rezone this. We don't need more stores, and we do need more green space. We really do. I mean, obviously, I live here. I still live here. My kids came back. But what is it that makes us special? And I think that's one of the things that we try to meet the needs of the community. And I think this is something we desperately need. We don't need more stores. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Anyone else on this side of the room? Yes, sir, please.
Hello. My name is Jerry Keller. I live at 1521 Wood Road.
Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. I've been a resident of Cleveland Heights ever since we moved here from Oberlin, which was about 32 years ago. And we've really enjoyed our neighbors. We've enjoyed living in Cleveland Heights and all the cultural amenities it has to offer. When I think about Oakwood, which has never been accessible to us, I think about an incredible opening, which would be an unbelievable asset to the whole community. We all know that. When I also think about the whole community, I think about our dogs. I think what a great thing it would be to have a dog park associated along with a people park. When we think about society these days, we think about a lot of people that are, not having an opportunity to get out, have to drive long distances to go somewhere where they can have free space and enjoy themselves. And a lot of us take short walks with our dogs halfway around the block and come home. I've got a daughter in Denver. She goes to a dog park, which is just amazing. And there are many of them in Denver. I've got a stepson in Portland. He goes to great dog parks. And I think a lot of us experience that we have attrition in our city because we don't have some of the amenities that we'd like to see here. This park for human beings has plenty of space. And the opportunity for that, also incorporating something to do with the dog park, I think would be a wonderful draw for both citizens of Cleveland Heights and for people in the surrounding areas. So I'd strongly recommend we at least look at that, have an opportunity for us to be more inclusive to our friendly animals that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Anyone else on this side of the room before I move over to this side now? Anybody? Yes, please.
My name's Thelma Pierce. I live at 3563 Berkeley Road for 51 years.
Welcome tonight.
Thank you. The park that I envision at Oakwood, we walk down Berkeley and we've always looked at this chain fence and said, oh, would we love to walk in this park? And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to have a park. Our children, we're a park family. My husband worked for Cuyahoga Valley National Park. We volunteer at North Chagrin Reservation. We love parks. Our children love parks. It was part of their growing up. And I think the children in our neighborhoods would love that if their parents would just be able to take them to a park. And you don't see that as much as you used to. So let's keep it a park and make sure, because what's the big deal about retail or more restaurants? That's not a place you want to take children to particularly. More shopping and things like that. We get enough of that. They don't get enough of nature. So let's keep it nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Thelma. Yes.
Hi, Ed. I'm Laura Marks. I live at 2893 Hampshire Road.
Welcome.
Here to let you know that it's not a Severance Neighborhood organization issue. It's really a community issue here. I'm a small business owner. I'm the piano technician for the Cleveland Heights School District, and I'd be happy to support the playground. Sure. We'll have to get in touch. You don't need to be reminded of what your responsibilities are, but I just want to state it so that you know where my line of thinking. That the responsibility of council is to the citizens of Cleveland Heights and to the property owner who's looking for an appropriate exit strategy. The citizens of Cleveland Heights, we need to be concerned about our health and our economic stability. And we also have to be concerned about the citizens who don't come here to city council meetings, who don't vote, who don't pay taxes that include the turkey, the fox, and the oak trees for which the property is named. If this project is approved, I think we need to make it an exemplary sustainable project that would include LEED Platinum buildings, cluster housing, minimizing impervious surfaces, and we need to do an environmental impact study that would measure the current water retention on the parcel, and if it's developed, make sure that there is no net increase in the runoff. The project should be carbon neutral in the construction project and into the future, including encouraging walking, biking, and public transportation. And for the economic stability of our city, there's no reason to give tax breaks to this kind of thing. A lot of people have already addressed, however, that we have a glut of housing and a glut of retail and a dwindling supply of open space. It doesn't make sense to increase housing when we've already got so many houses on the market, so many houses in foreclosure. And we need to think about the dwindling, saving this as open space, the Oakwood property as open space, is not increasing anything. It's simply keeping the status quo. And we need to at least keep the status quo if we're not increasing our open space. Mark, correct me on this statistic if I'm wrong. My understanding is that within Cuyahoga County, 30% of our existing houses is going to be leveled within the next 20 years. Okay, we've got some dying neighborhoods within Cleveland Heights that if somebody wants to develop LEED Platinum, have a LEED standard housing development, there's no reason they couldn't be leveling North Coventry or you name it. We have some really dying neighborhoods where the buildings could be leveled and put up appropriate economically viable housing and environmentally sustainable. So I ask you to think about how this is going to be developed, if it's going to be developed, and keep Cleveland Heights special. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Hello all, my name is Lisa Rainsong, and I live at 962 Montford. I've been a homeowner there for the past 16 years. I was a Cleveland Heights renter for many years before that, and I grew up, I'm 57 years old. I've been around here a long time.
Welcome,
I grew up.
Welcome tonight, Lisa.
Yeah, I grew up not far from where I live now. I'm very, very concerned about a couple of the aspects of things that people have talked about already. I'm so concerned about the idea of having big box stores and more retail where Oakwood is now. It just seems like an appalling waste of what we have in Cleveland Heights that is so special. If we can do something with Oakwood, such as a park, that would help establish once again that this is really a different community. There's something special about Cleveland Heights that differentiates us from other communities where development has been rampant. We're not going to do anything to improve the way we look to the rest of the region if we have more big box stores. And when I looked at what was presented in the Plain Dealer, it appears that Schneider, I believe his name is planning 63 acres of retail. 63 acres of retail here, and 22 of that would be in Cleveland Heights, so that actually pertains to us here as opposed to the part that's in South Euclid that I can't really speak to. But for Cleveland Heights, such a waste that would be for us when we already have so many areas. I'm from the Noble Monticello area. No one's mentioned that one yet, but that's a pretty sorry little corner. And if you look at the retail on Noble on either end of Monticello, that's pretty pathetic. And when I think of the possibility of big box stores and all the other 20-some stores that he's thinking of putting in besides 3 or 4 large ones, what about our neighborhood? So I'm very deeply concerned about that, and I would be so saddened if our one chance at having something very special at Oakwood with that green space there, if we lost it, because if we lose that, we've lost it forever. There's no other large green space left for us. We could do something that would really define Cleveland Heights as a very special place, or we could just blow it. And I really hope we don't do the latter.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else? Yes, sir, please.